Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are going to unlock one of the most powerful and personal ways to learn a new language. Think of this as your masterclass for building vocabulary around a story you already know by heart, your own daily life. From the second your day starts to the moment it ends, you're going to learn the key phrases to describe it all in English. So let's get started.
So if you're learning English, I bet you've wondered, what is the real secret to becoming fluent? Is it just memorizing a ton of vocabulary lists or getting all that complicated grammar perfect? Well, what if I told you the answer isn't in some textbook, but it's actually in your own daily life?
That's right. The single most powerful tool for any beginner is learning how to describe the life you're already living. And why is that? Well, because these are the words and the actions that you repeat every single day. When you learn to talk about your routine, you're not just studying English anymore. You're making it a real part of your world.
So let's dive right in, where every day begins, the morning. We're going to break down all the essential vocabulary you need to talk about everything you do before you even head out the door.
You know, most mornings follow a pretty similar pattern, and this slide here gives us our roadmap. We start with waking up, then we get ready, grab some breakfast, and finally, we leave the house. Simple, right? Okay, let's get into the details. Let's start with those very first things you do. First, you wake up. Then, you actually get out of bed. After that, you probably head to the bathroom to brush your teeth and wash your face. See? These four simple phrases are the first building blocks for the story of your day. Now, this is what's really cool, because this slide shows you how to make the language personal. The main phrase is, have breakfast, but what you eat, that's totally unique to you. So Emily might say, I have coffee and toast, but Paul says, I have tea and cereal. So what about you? What do you have for breakfast? This is how you really start to own the language. Okay, so breakfast is done and it's time to get going. First, you get dressed. Then you put on your shoes, and depending on the weather, maybe you put on your coat. And what's that final step? You leave the house. You see how all these actions just connect together in a story? All right, let's do a super quick recap. We've got wake up, brush my teeth, have breakfast, get dressed, leave the house, and for a lot of us, go to work. See how those verbs create the whole story of your morning? You're already building a real narrative in English. Now for the main event, the biggest part of the day for most of us, the workday. And it doesn't matter if you go to an office, work from home, or go to school. These next phrases are going to help you describe your daily tasks and, of course, your breaks. And just like the morning, the workday has a pretty predictable flow to it. We start work, we might have some meetings, we definitely take a break for lunch, and then we finish work. Having this structure really helps us organize all the new vocabulary. For so many of us, work really comes down to these core activities, right? You sit at a desk and you work on a computer. A huge part of the day can be spent just to answer emails. And of course, a lot of us have meetings to connect with our colleagues. And here it is again. We see how you can take these phrases and adapt them for any kind of job. Emily, who works in an office, she writes reports. Paul, who's a teacher, prepares lessons. What about you? Do you write articles? Maybe you talk to customers? The basic pattern is always the same. Everyone needs a lunch break. The key phrase here is to have lunch. You could go out to eat, or maybe you bring something from home. You could have a sandwich or have a salad. Just simple, essential phrases for the middle of your day. All right, work is done, and now it is time to wind down. Let's look at the language we use to describe our evenings, from the moment we get home all the way to when we go to sleep. So here's our evening roadmap. It all starts with that great feeling of finally going home. Then comes some time to relax, have dinner, enjoy a little bit of free time, and finally head off to bed. So after a long day, you go home. What's the very first thing you do? Maybe you just relax on the sofa and watch TV. Then it's time to cook dinner. And of course, after dinner, someone's got to wash the dishes. This is your free time. What do you do to unwind? Maybe you like to read a book or talk to your family. Perhaps you enjoy a nice go for a walk to get some fresh air, or maybe you just want to listen to music. These are the phrases that describe how you recharge your batteries. And look at that. We've come full circle. Just like in the morning, a really important part of the evening routine is to brush your teeth. And the very final action of the day is, you guessed it, to go to bed. So let's quickly review that evening routine. You go home, you relax, you cook dinner, you enjoy some free time by reading a book or maybe listening to music, and finally, you go to bed. And just like that, you've described an entire day in English. So, we've covered the morning, the workday, and the evening. You have all the building blocks. But you know what? The most important step of all comes right now. It's your turn to actually practice.
And before you start, I really want you to remember this key piece of advice. Learning is a journey, not a race. It takes time, it takes practice, and it is so, so important to be patient with yourself. You have to celebrate every single new phrase you learn.
And here's a fantastic, super practical tip. Grab a piece of paper and just write down your day using the phrases we learned today. I promise, the physical act of writing really helps lock that vocabulary into your memory. Give it a try. And that brings us to our final and most important question. We've gone through the whole framework, we've seen the examples. Now I'm asking you, using what you've just learned, how would you describe your day in English? Go on, give it a try, even if it's just a few sentences. You might be really surprised at how much you can already say. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and happy learning.